Hey there, friend. It's Dr. Tiffany, and I want to welcome you to this episode. This is episode 36 of Integrative Mental Health Therapy with Dr. Tiffany. And this one is a reflection episode. So, Can You Reflect is the title. And I'm thinking about coming out of the first part of the year, transitioning from summer and going into fall, right? We just had Labor Day, and that's an indicator that we are shifting, and all the pumpkin spice, this, that, and the other is about to start up. And I think it's a good opportunity to really reflect on how you want to progress. How do you want to move forward? And when I'm thinking about that, it's taking a moment, looking at the intentions that you set for 2025. What did you want this year to look like for you? How is that intention going for you? And then how do you want to mindfully navigate through the last part of this year, right? So you have 4 months. How do you want that to look? How do you want that to feel? What are your intentions for the remainder of the year? And I was reflecting as well. I a couple of different things kind of made me really think about it. I'm self-employed, obviously, and so a lot of times different entities within the business that I run are going to start looking at, okay, where are we at with this quarter? Have you done your estimated taxes? What needs to be done here, there, and the other? And it makes you stop and reflect. What kinds of decisions do you need to make for the end of the year? It makes you stop and reflect. I recently had an appointment with my primary care, and he said, just how was the summer? How has the summer treated you? How have things gone since last year? And it was an opportunity to reflect. um, and I'm looking at scheduling a number of intensives with different clients over the next couple of months, thinking about intentions for the work that I'm doing with clients and patients in the practice. And, will I be traveling? Will I be in a training? Will I dedicate certain blocks of time to intensives for certain individuals who need to go deeper in their work? And it's an opportunity to reflect on where I've been. How much time have I taken away this year? What family do I need to travel and go see to make sure I'm being intentional with my family? And those connections in community. And then how do I take, around the end of the year, people will have extra time. How do I take that time and capitalize on it to do deeper work with clients? So a lot of reflection, right? And I do have a lot of intention to travel and spend time with my husband, spend time with my family. I've done a lot of that this year. I've prioritized rest just as much as I have work this year. And I'm really proud of that because that was one of my intentions. I had a lot of intentions about doing, more of what worked and less of what didn't. And as I reflect, I'm really proud of the fact that I've been able to do that in so many domains of my life. Um, with my own internal system, my parts within my practice, with my staff, with which clients I bring on and which ones I refer out, which clients I no longer could serve and determine needed to be referred out. Um, you name it. I was playing tennis in one place and decided that wasn't working for me, and started looking for different ways to explore tennis personally for my own personal, growth and development, and have found a different tennis family, and that's worked. And but there are so many things that didn't work, and I'm equally as curious about what made those things not work, and um, what did I learn from that? And what kind of growth am I experiencing as a result of that? So many of my clients in my practice are flourishing as a result of different interventions that we're doing, the duration of appointments, the kind of um, parts exploration and how I'm going about that, I've added a new kind of framework to doing parts work within the practice called Hawkeye. And it just stands for an approach for developmental trauma and looking at how that affects people and their parts. And adding that framework has made a really big difference for a number of the clients that I have. And just reflecting on making those different choices, learning different things. And so I just want to encourage you before we get into deep into this final 4 months of the year to just pause and reflect, be intentional, set your intentions. And from the Hawkeye model, I want to highlight for you one of the focuses and premises is to really look at self value, self worth, self esteem, self love. And I want you to Google self esteem, Google self love, Google self worth. And I want you to just be really curious around where are you with that concept? What does that mean to you? And when you think of self from a parts perspective, how does that concept integrate with that? And are you engaging in self love? Are you at war with self? And what would you like to do intentionally for this last quarter to make a shift in that area, right? Um, Working with your parts is a constant journey. People get overwhelmed by parts. They're like, how many parts am I going to have ultimately? And you have as many parts as you have. And the work you do with dropping in and understanding your system and sending love to and compassion to those parts, but also excavating the self is an act of love. And as you travel into this end of the year, and the weather's changing and things will turn brown and fall off the trees, and grass will turn brown and things will prune. I want you to look at who do you need to ask to step back in your system so that you can tap into self-love, self-valuing, self-worth. What have you done when it comes to your intentions, and where is there still more work to do? And how can you lean into that? I want you to reflect, just like I have, what's working, what hasn't, and being curious about what's made it not work, and what is your system trying to tell you? What is your faith trying to tell you about what's working and what isn't? I recently did a podcast I'm insanely proud of. And it was Healing with Confidence, a wonderful couple that I was interviewed by. And I'm going to drop the link for that. That's why there wasn't a podcast last month, because I did that one and it was a long one. It was really, really juicy. And that podcast really got me reflecting just on my life and my journey and what I do in the world in general. And I want to share that with you. It'll be in the show notes. And I just want to encourage that reflection. And I will come back to some of what I've been doing with this new framework around the parts work and this idea of self-esteem and self-worth. And just share a bit more of that with you in the next episode. But I will close out here. It's a beautiful day as I record this podcast. My dog is staring at me. I have a wonderful cup of tea, and there is conditioner just in my hair, and I'm in a wonderful robe, and I feel very happy and content in this moment. And I know that this moment is a result of intentions that I set at the beginning of the year and my previous self setting up this future self for success and for contentment and for peace. And as I reflect on how I got to this moment, and set intentions for the rest of the year and even the beginning of the year, I just wanted to share that concept with you instead of waiting until New Year's to set resolutions. Really think about how do you want the rest of your year to look. Okay, wonderful checking in with you. And until next time, be well.